All right. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. It's Cowboy. It is 8:30 AM EST. We are in the new format. We're going to do the live show for 10 minutes, and then we're going to flip over to the private live lab. Okay, so we did a 30-minute free to the public for beginners lab for roughly 6 months. Wanted to give everybody a chance to see what we do. Right now, we're going to do this for 10 minutes every day. And of course, anybody can come on. You can ask questions in the comments section if you want to see something charted. We will do that for you. And then after that, 10 minutes is up. We go over to the private live lab. If you want to join us over there, click QR code in the top right-hand corner. For now, let me go ahead and share the screen so we can talk about Bitcoin not giving a rat's ass. No Fs. No Fs given. Okay, so let's go ahead and make this screen a little bit bigger. Bitcoin just mobbing up, doesn't care. No Fs whatsoever. There was always the idea that the halving might see a pullback that was deeper than what we've already seen, which was a 17.5% pullback. And what I have been saying about this pullback on numerous shows is that we've already seen what is close enough to prior pullbacks, right? So prior pullbacks before the halving, depending on when you start the pullback, depending on how you do your charts, the way I see it is 20 to 30% is pretty normal just prior to the halving, which the halving, if I were to drop a line on the chart, is going to be right here on the 19th. That's been the last time I looked at the estimated date for the halving was on the 19th. So we have, what's today, the 8th? So we got a week and a half until the halving, right? And typically what we've seen is a pullback before the halving, and then either just before or just after the halving, we see price head up. Of course, what is different now is that we have a lot of larger players in the game. We got a lot of people who are, institutional types, and they just continue to buy Bitcoin. We've seen a little downward pressure, as we typically see before the halving, and this is coincidental with Grayscale selling their Bitcoin. Now, and that's, we've talked about this numerous times in the show. A lot of people are selling their Grayscale positions so they could just buy Bitcoin. So it's almost kind of a net. I don't know how many of those people are just buying Bitcoin. Like, I'm not saying they're all doing it, but in the end, there's some downward pressure because Grayscale has to redeem their Bitcoin in order to pay their customers. When those customers redeem their stocks, they got to sell their Bitcoin to pay them. However, a lot of these customers are just going straight into Bitcoin. So whether or not this downward pressure is happening because of Grayscale is very questionable. It might just be what we always see before halving, but it does seem to be abbreviated. So that would, and with these institutional types buying Bitcoin at record pace, there's a very good chance that we'll just see price go up and that the pullback has already happened. We'll see. Here's the thing about it. Bitcoin currently has technically started to build a range, and it looks pretty clear at this point, more or less like this. You got a decent little range that's starting to build. It's not as clean as I'd like it. We'll see about it. We'll see if price rejects at this top level. However, also a lot of people are looking at this as a symmetrical triangle. It is no longer one of those, right? So that top got broken. A lot of people are seeing this as, okay, it's going to go up from here. And that might be true. Symmetrical triangles in reality are about 50-50 as to whether they will break up or down. However, it has broken up. So I guess since the price is above the top of that, then perhaps we can look at that as better than 50-50, it will go up. Algorithmically, I can tell you on the daily, it is bullish. And that's just how I've seen it for weeks now. Weekly is bullish, daily is bullish, everything's bullish. So I would not be surprised to see Bitcoin go ahead and resume its move upward at this point. That's the most likely scenario for me, is that Bitcoin will resume its move upward. It will break the all-time highs. However, that is all based on probability, and we might see price reject right here and head back down. We might see price reject at the all-time high and head back down, but there's a decent chance now is when it resumes its move upwards. So let's take a look. I don't see anything in the comment section. In fact, it's pretty quiet. We don't have the same crowd we usually have today. Maybe it's Monday. Maybe people got the Monday blues. But yeah, quiet day for us in here. Definitely. definitely. It might be because I didn't do a video on Friday. I usually do the second video, Morning Cool Cat. I usually do a second video, and I'll either just do like a roundup of charts, or I will highlight a coin that I think is interesting, or whatever it might be, opus minimus in the house. I think we might take, and again, we only have a few minutes yet left in the live lab, free live lab. So anybody in the comments, go ahead, ask a question. I'm actually going to take a brief look. We've talked about this at length in the free live lab as well, and it's the USDJPY. Now, remember what I've told you. USDJPY has, this is the United States dollar versus Japanese yen. And I know a lot of people on here are strictly crypto traders, but you need to understand that the rest of the world matters. Traditional finance is a multi-quadrillion dollar business, while crypto is a multi-trillion dollar business. So the crypto is dwarfed when it comes to traditional finance. And if traditional finance ever were to pour into Bitcoin, it would make all of us very rich. And the reason traditional finance might pour into Bitcoin would be because the system is changing. So we are at a precipice right now, because if you take a look at the Japanese yen, we've talked about this. So I'll make it very brief, my little explanation here, but the Japanese yen has been a pressure relief valve for the US equities market for a long time. When I say equities, I mean the stock market. And understand that the stock market is where the world puts its money, right? The US stock market is where the world invests its money. There's a lot of money from around the world in the US stock market, especially through the derivatives market, so on and so forth, stocks, bonds, all that stuff. Now, when this Japanese yen, if and when it breaks above this $1.51.90, essentially, that's been where it always gets protected. If it breaks above that, it doesn't mean that everything's going to all of a sudden change, but it's an indication that something that has existed for going back 2 or 3 years is going to be changing, right? There's going to be a bit of a rupture here. Now, we do know that the Japanese government is going to protect its currency to a degree. However, right now, since they have changed the way that they're doing things and gone away from negative interest rates, it seems as if there is a currency war. And we do know that currency wars often precede shooting wars. So let's all keep our heads on a swivel. Usually a massive economic change will come along with a shooting war. That can be something we got to pay attention to. Some might think we're already in a shooting war if you take a look at what's going on in Ukraine and the Middle East. And let's just hope that let's just hope that we don't see. Let's hope all that killing stops. That would be nice. I'm not taking sides, here in this conversation. Dog with hat's just fumbling. You know what I mean? You want to see dog with hat before we go. I would just take a look at your fib target. Our prior fib targets were hit exactly, right? The 618 was from the last time somebody asked me about dog with hat, and it literally hit that and then went back down and retraced to a 618. So this is really, really obeying the 618 fibs, right? So if you want to know about fibs, come to Algo Factory, zap the QR code. The next targets are dog with hat. If this shitcoin continues, we'll go up to probably 568 and 664. I have no idea if this coin has any use for anything. Remember, you're just gambling with these shit coins. Actually, I'd say 99.99% of crypto is gambling. But those are the targets I'm looking at for dog with hat. Gorilla in the house just in time.
How dare you call dog with hat a shit coin?
Oh,
it has incredible uses, man. First of all, dog with hat, it's used for settlement of invoices. It's used for streaming services like Netflix are going to be using dog with hat in order to speed up their streaming.
Are you joking?
Microsoft is using it as an absolute build out for their Azure cloud platform. And it's solving world hunger because it's going to allow African countries to do better farming. And on top of that, dog with hat also is going to allow electric cars to get more range from the electric vehicles. So all these things are happening. It'll also allow planes to fly faster, and Boeing airplanes will no longer have parts falling off of them as they're in midair because of dog with hat. The other thing that dog with hat is also doing, it's going to make a lot of the housing and areas that are within Gaza bomb-proof.
Yeah, bomb-proof.
Yes, absolutely, to Israeli bombs. It's also going to reopen the Red Sea from the Houthis. That's what it's going to do. and it's going to also create world peace.
Right.
These are just some of the things I'm listing here. This is from the white paper.
Is it going to create? Is it going to create equity?
Yeah, and inclusion.
Yeah,
and Dog with Hat is also going to allow an easier transition for those who are transitioning male to female or trans species, transracial, whatever you want, man. It does it all.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to just the world being solved with Dog with Hat.
Oh, so absolutely.
Get us out of here, V.
Thank all you guys for listening in. We will be back on tomorrow. Join us in the private lab right now. AlgoFactory.tech.
Join us or die.